Oh, yeah, here we go again. Hello, and welcome into Ray on Sports. I am your host, Johnny Ray. In this podcast, we talk all things sports from my own opinion. You may agree or you may disagree, but all I do is ask that you listen. So come on in, buckle up, and let's take this ride. Hey, welcome again. Once again, this is Johnny Ray for Ray on Sports Podcast, the sports podcast that talks sports and everything more. I'm your host, Johnny Ray, and today we're going to talk some more NBA playoffs. We had a clincher in the Western Conference Finals. Oklahoma City Thunder defeated the Minnesota Timberwolves 3 games to 1 to clinch the Western Conference Finals. The difference in that series, I want to tell you about it a little bit. The conversation between the challenges that Minnesota had in trying to win this series is that Anthony Edwards had led the team, but he had no help. As far as his guarding him, OKC guarding him, they had Chet Williams, they had Jalen Williams on them, they had Lou Dort on them, they had Alex Caruso on them, they had Casey Williams on him. They had three different guys that was challenging Anthony Edwards, and it was hard for him to do anything. He didn't have any help from his bench. He didn't have any. He had help from his bench. One game, I believe, the bench scored maybe 45 points, maybe 50 points from the bench, but nobody else stepped up. None of the role players stepped up. I think one game, Dante DiVincenzo and Nas Reed stepped up, and Dante DiVincenzo had like 20 something points in one game, and Nas Reed had about 20 something. But as far as the rest of the bench, I'm sorry, Mikael Alexander Walker had 21, and Dante DiVincenzo had like 23, something like that. But what I'm talking about is Anthony Edwards is a bona fide star. He's a bona fide superstar. The problem is he needs some more running mates around him. When I'm looking at it, it reminds me a lot of, and I'm not making comparisons because I hate when people compare players to other players in generations. But Anthony Edwards reminds me of a young Michael Jordan or a young LeBron James when they first came into the league, was trying to feel their way around, push their teams to the limit, but they just didn't have enough to push them over the top. And until they got better players around them that kind of fit the system that they wanted to run, then that's what they made it to the championship. That's what Michael Jordan made to the championship when he got the players he needs around him. He got Pippen around him. He got Steve Kerr around him. He got Dennis Rodman around him. He got those kind of players who knew their roles. So back in those times, players knew their roles and they did their roles to the best of their ability. This NBA now, which I'm seeing a lot in the playoffs, it's good basketball. It's exciting basketball. I'm not saying it's boring. It's a lot of threes being thrown up. And that bothers me a little bit because sometimes they go down on like a three on one break, which three men from the offense and one from defense on the back, and two of the guys on offense stops at the 3 point line. I'm like, come on, run, drive to the basket. There's only one guy back. Drive to the basket, and they wasn't doing that. They were like, I mean, it's a three heavy league right now. Sometimes the three can win games for you. Sometimes they lose for you. Now for OKC, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander has a mid-range game, and he was killing them. I mean, Anthony Edwards was on him. He was taking him to the hole. They put somebody else on him. He took him to the hole. They put his cousin. I mean, they put Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's cousin is Alexander Walker, who plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they put him on him, and he cooked him. He cooked everybody because Shea realized that what it took to win and what it takes for him. He made it. He was named MVP of the league, so he knew what it took to get his team to the promised land, and they're almost there. They're in the NBA Finals. They're just waiting for the winner of the Indiana New York series. But about OKC is what I've noticed about them is they're a team. They're a team. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. It's the five guys that start: Shea, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Lou Dort, and I think Alex Caruso. Those guys who start when they play a team game. Now Alex Caruso is coming off a championship team. He played for the Lakers when they won a 2020 championship in the bubble, which people call a bubble championship, but the banner still says champion. I don't care what you say about that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I've noticed how they play, and I've noticed that Shea doesn't just take the ball and just dribble, and then okay, I can't find a shot, then pass it away. Shea looks at the defense, see what they're doing, and then he kicks the ball to like Lou Dort. He kicks it to Chet. He looks around to see what the defense is doing, and when he notices what they're doing, then he kicks the ball. But if he notices that they're flagging back on him, then he'll take the shot. And he's not a. I mean, the other game he got 40 some points, but it wasn't that he was pushing for 40. It was just that was available to him. So then Minnesota's defense tried to change it and said, okay, we're gonna shift and play everybody else and let Shea do his thing, and Shea cooked him. He still cooked him. So Minnesota got a lot to do, lot of work to do over the summer. I've heard that Nas Reed, they have 3 free agents there. Nas Reed, Nikhil Alexander Walker, and I forgot the third guy. I think Julius Randle. That's their 3 free agents that they got to worry about this summer about paying them. They can only keep 2 of them because of the salary caps, and I'm not going to get into all the logistics of that because I don't know them that well. But I know that there's only so much you can spend as a team, and they can't afford to pay all 3 players. This is how a lot of teams fall apart, is that you can't afford to keep those players that you need that won you those championship, because what happens is you got a player on your team, they play well in the playoffs and in the finals, and then next year comes around and they're like, hey, what for me, you guys wouldn't have won. They're not really saying that, but people are saying that to them and they're believing it, and so they ask for more money. And sometimes teams are like, well, we don't have that much to give you. We can offer you this, we can't offer you what you want. And they're like, well, there's other teams that offer me more. And what that does is it it changes the player. And I'm segueing into players that are on championship teams, and then they win, and then they end up being a free agent and they move somewhere else and they don't do anything else. Perfect example: Bruce Bowen played for the Denver Nuggets when they won their championship in 2023, and he got it. He was a free agent, got his money, went to Toronto, got his money, didn't do nothing. Then he left Toronto, and I think they traded him somewhere else. So I think he's in maybe Atlanta. I'm not sure. I have to look it up. But that's what I'm talking about. Players like that win and then look at the money and said, "Oh, well, I'll help you win, so I'm gonna go give you some more money." KCP, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, was on that same team. Now those guys are gone, and Denver's feeling it because Denver don't have those players anymore. They got players to try to replace them, and it didn't work out. So that's what hopefully for OKC, they got a young nucleus. Those guys will stay together for a while. For Minnesota, it's like I said, they got 3 free agents that they got to try to pay, and we'll see how that works. But for Anthony Edwards, I think he did well. I mean, I think he could have did more. He could have took over the game more, but I think he was trying to play within the system, try to keep his guys involved. But he'll learn. He'll learn because last year he got this far and he got stuck at the final. I think he got stuck in the Western Conference Final. He got knocked out the Western Conference Finals by the Dallas Mavericks at the time. So he'll learn. He'll learn what his role is. He'll learn how to be a leader. He'll learn how to take over a game when he needs to. He'll probably get that Jordan-esque mentality or that Kobe Bryant mentality or that LeBron James mentality or that Dwayne Wade mentality or that the players, Larry Bird mentality, Reggie Miller mentality. Those players like that, what they do is they know what needs to be done to win. So that's what they push their players. Kobe was great at that. He will push players to win. I'm like, come on, we can do this. Come on, you guys, come on, let's get on board, let's do it. And Kobe wasn't slacking. He would be in the gym, he would do his thing. He would get up before everybody else and go to bed before everybody. I mean, after everybody else. And he wanted to master his craft, and he learned from Jordan because Jordan was mastering his craft. So that's how teams used to be back then, but now we have to stay. We have to try to keep a team together now because of salary caps, because of aprons, because of free agency, all this stuff like that. It's hard to keep a true team together because everybody wants money. Everybody feel like I should get paid more, and it happens in every sport. It's like a player in a sport, they'll say, you know what, I'm worth more to your team, and they'll look at another team who has the same exact player and say, look how much he's getting. I need that too. It happens in football. Wide receivers, they's like, hey, I made X amount of catches this year, so I should be getting paid this because so and so over here did less catches than me, and he's making more than me. So what y'all gonna do about it? And teams have to negotiate and says, okay, this is what we got. This is what we got. This is what we can do. Or they'll say, well, sorry, we can't pay you that much, and then that player will leave, and it changes the trajectory of the team. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Some teams in any sports, when you lose a good player or a great player in their eyes, and you go in and plug somebody into that spot, that same spot, sometimes it works out for the better. Think in OKC did that. They traded away um, Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso, and it paid dividends. Caruso's a dog. Caruso's what they needed, and he's kind of can like navigate the young players and say, hey, this is what we need to do to win. So you can see it all the way around for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're playing hard. They're playing hard defense. They shooting lights out, and they're running back. I mean, from their starters to the bench, everybody plays hard. Everybody does what they need to do to get the job done, and that's why they're going to the NBA Finals. I had picked them earlier, and I don't think in the podcast, but I think I did a clip on it on TikTok about I picked in Indiana. I mean OKC to make it. I said OKC in Indiana. We'll see. But right now it's looking like it's OKC, and I don't know about Indiana because, like I said, New York. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't say that. New York actually won tonight, and New York won 111-94. I don't know what happened to Indiana, but it's a 3 games to 2. It's a 3 games to 2 lead for Indiana. So Indiana's got to figure it out. Indiana could have wrapped it up tonight, but they didn't. For Indiana, Tyrese Halliburton, oh my God, he only had 8 points, two for 7 from the field in 32 minutes. Uh, Nembhard, 6 points. Miles Turner only had 5. Pascal Siakam was there. I think their best player. He had 15. So I don't know what New York. I didn't see the game, so I don't know what New York did different that shut them down. Maybe Indiana came with that mentality that they had New York and that New York was going to roll over and was going to get a game up. Maybe they had the mentality and they was overlooking them. And New York said, "No, we got a little bit more in us. We got a little bit more. Got a little bit more. Got a little bit more. Got a whole lot more. Got a whole lot more." For y'all don't know what that is, that's from Rocky. That's Rocky 3 when he's fighting Mr. T. Mr. T said, "Come on, well boy, I got a whole lot more. Got a whole lot more. Got a whole lot more." That's where I got that reference from. But yeah, so New York is hanging in there. I still don't see them winning. I still think Indiana can win. New York, let's see, let me see what they had. Their biggest, so I go, I'm looking at the stats and I look at like their best players and see how they did. Karl-Anthony Towns, 10 of 20 from the field, 24 points. Jalen Brunson, 12 of 18 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3, 32 points. Karl-Anthony Towns also had 13 rebounds. OG Anunoby had 11. Mikal Bridges, see, that's what they did. I see that's the difference right there. They switched up and they took Josh Hart and had him come off the bench, and they put Mikal Bridges in the starting lineup. That's probably what made the difference with Indiana, because they probably put Bridges um, I'm sorry, on Halliburton. They put Mikal Bridges on Halliburton, and that's probably what changed the whole. I didn't even have to see the game to tell you what happened. Coach started said, you know what, Bridges is a better defender. Jalen Brunson is not a great defender, and every time he's on Halliburton, Halliburton cooks him. So they probably made a defensive change and started Mikal instead, and they probably threw Indiana for the game. And Indiana didn't. By the time Indiana adjusted, the game was probably all but almost over. But that's what happens in the NBA. You got to adjust to what the other team is doing. You got to. That's why it's a 7 game series, because every game is an adjustment. Every game is a chess match. Every game is what you're gonna do better. What I'm gonna do. What I do. It's different in the NFL, because the NFL is like playoffs are 1 game and you go to the next one. So you don't have that many time. You have time to make adjustments, but you play on a different team. In the NBA, in baseball, I believe in hockey as well. Yeah, hockey. Those are the sports where you can make game time adjustments, because you have 7 games. You have a 7 game series, so you can make adjustments. You can figure out what didn't work this game and what can work next game. I think that's what they did, in my opinion, and it worked out for them. They won. They won the game. So yeah. Now it's 3-2 now, and the next game is in Indiana. So this game was in New York. Next game is in Indiana. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The Pacers shocked them in the first game, and the Knicks came back and no, I'm sorry, Pacers. Yes, Pacers shocked them in the first game. Came back from 20 points down and beat them. Second game, Pacers had them, and Knicks. I think Knicks the game 2, Knicks was like trying to figure out what happened, and the Pacers beat them. The third game, Knicks just came out. I think Karl-Anthony Towns went crazy. But here's the thing: the role players. I mean, not the role player, but he's like the Batman to Jalen Brunson's. He's the Robin to Jalen Brunson's Batman. The problem is you got to do that every single game for a 7 game series. You can't take a game off, because this is it's win or go home. Basically, that's what the NBA playoffs are: win or go home. And you cannot take a game off and say, "Oh, we'll get a next game," because that next game might not come for you, or the other team gets more momentum and say, "We got them," and they smoke them. And that's what happened with the other series. The oh my God, what was the series was that? The Minnesota OKC series. That's what happened in that last game. Because the last game, the Thunder beat them 124-94. They smoked them, and that game wasn't even close. I watched that game. I watched majority of it till like halftime, and at halftime they were up by like 30. And I said, "There's no way Minnesota's coming back." And then, like I said, the role players weren't playing their roles. Anthony Edwards was doing the most he can, but he was still was like a little timid. It looked like he was tired, he was gassed, and he wasn't getting no help. So he was trying to get help from his bench. He was trying to get his help from players, but nobody really did what they were supposed to do. And I know Minnesota could play better than that because they played my Lakers. Problem with when they played the Lakers, and it's always matchups. When they played the Lakers, the reason why they got the best of the Lakers is because they had a center. Lakers didn't have a center, so Lakers couldn't match up with them, and it cost them in the end. They played Golden State. Golden State lost Steph, so that series was over right there. No matter what Draymond did, no matter what nobody else did, Golden State wouldn't win that series once Steph went out. And then they got to OKC, and OKC had fresh bodies. OKC was rotate players in and out, and was confusing Minnesota. Minnesota couldn't shoot. They couldn't do nothing. I mean, like I said, the bench did pretty well, but nobody else did nothing. And Anthony, I mean, Ant Man, he looked like a deer in headlights. Let me look at the box scores on that. So for Minnesota, Julius Randle had 24. He was 8 of 14 from the field, 4 of 6 from three, 24 points. Mike Conley, their starting point guard, 0 points, 21 minutes, 0 points, 0 from 3 from the field. Rudy Gobert, 19 minutes, 5 rebounds, 2 points. Anthony Edwards, their star, 7 of 18 from the field, 39 minutes, 1 from 7 from 3, 19 points. Their bench, nothing. The guys that like Shannon and Dillingham who came in and played, I think that was like garbage time, and they got 11 points and 7 points respectively. But Nikhil Alexander Walker, 0 points. Played 20 minutes, 0 points. Dante DiVincenzo, 6 points. Naz Reid, 24 minutes, 11 points. See, that's not gonna get it done, and that's your key guys. DiVincenzo, Naz Reid, and Alexander Walker off the bench. That was their key guys. That's the one who played the most minutes off the bench. And between the three of them, they had 17 points. 17 points between the three of them, and a total of 68 minutes. That's not gonna get it done. That's not gonna get it done, dude. Guys, you gotta play better. But hey, you got the whole summer to think about it. You booking a trip to Cancun like everybody else, but you got the whole summer to think about it. But that's not gonna get it done. So what I can see OKC winning the NBA Finals. I can see it because they can. If they whoever they go up, if they go up against Indiana, I think they can take Indiana. If they go up against New York, they definitely can take New York. And the reason why I say that is because Indiana is a complete team. I mean, I'm sorry, Oklahoma City Thunder is a complete team. I haven't seen a complete team like this in years, since maybe the Lakers when they went on that three-peat. They had a complete team, and they felt that it was unstoppable because everybody played their role. And when the good thing about OKC, what I see is when they do interviews, it's like the three biggest stars are right there. No matter who's the interview for, they're all standing there, like they're like we're in this together. You do an interview, but I'm gonna be right there with you. Like this is like right after the game's over. They do a post game interview on the court. And one time they was talking to Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren was behind him, and Shea Gillis Alexander was right there with him. And that's what they do every interview. Every interview I've seen, whoever they interviewing, the other guys are behind them. That's team basketball right there. And that's what's going to push them to the NBA Finals because they trust each other and they play together and they probably hang together and they know that they're right there. They're young, they're hungry, they've never been there before. Now they're going to the finals. I don't think the stage is too big for them. They had a great regular season, so I don't think the stage is too big for them. So we'll see. But I believe that they can do it. I believe OKC can do it. Their what they do. So their regular season record was. I'm sorry. What happened? Oh, okay. Regular season record for OKC Thunder. think they won 60 games. Yeah, I think that's what they won. 68 games. They won 68 and 14 in the regular season. And at first, I had said it earlier that they're catching people off guard. That people haven't played them. They play one game. But they're proving it. Those boys are proving that they belong here. So unless another team from the West comes up, which I don't see it happening. I'm a Laker fan. I'm a diehard fan. I hope we can be right back in it because we got Luka Doncic now. But I don't see nobody beat OKC unless they have a good scheme against them. Because you got to play, you got to guard everybody. You can't leave nobody off. You can't say, okay, we're gonna crowd Shea, we're gonna double Shea and let everybody else get off because they will get off. Lou Dort will get off. Chet Holmgren will get off. Jalen Williams will get off. All these guys will get off. So I don't see I don't see nobody beating them right now. Right now, as they're constructed right now. So in the last game, like I said, they blew them out 124-94. Lou Dort, Chet Holmgren played 30 minutes. Jalen Williams played 32 minutes. Isaiah Hartenstein played 17 minutes. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander played 34 minutes, and Lou Dort played 38 minutes. Chet Holmgren had 22. Jalen Williams had 19. Hartenstein had 8, but that's not what he's there for. He's there to clog the middle. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 34. Lou Dort had 12. Off the bench, they didn't really need no bench help. Isaiah Joe had 11, and Alex Caruso had 8. But this is the kind of thing that Alex Caruso, his thing is not to score. He's scoring if he can, but his thing is to play defense. You don't have a lot of players in the league right now that know their role. Everybody's trying to shoot a three. Everybody's trying to jack up a three every chance they get. So, and it showed in this game because I think Chet Holmgren, well, Lou Dort went 4 from 10 from three. I think a lot of those shots didn't have to be threes, but and his total field goals was 4 from 11. So, majority of his shots he shot from three. Jay was 2 from 4 from three, but he was 14-25 from the field, which means he was hitting the mid-range game, he was hitting layups, he was driving to the basket, all that, because he can shoot three, but he don't shoot three. Same thing with Chet. Chet was 8-13 from the field. Jalen Williams was 7-14 from the field, but only Chet was 2-4 from three, and Jalen was 1-4 from three. 1-4 from three. So that's telling you right there that they didn't shoot too many threes. They got their basket. They got their looks at the basket, and that's what I'm saying is that you have to. And I said it in my last podcast that you got to have your set something else in your tool bag. So they knew what Minnesota was doing. They had no problem with it. They outplayed Minnesota in every facet of the game. Every facet of the game, from defense to offense to whatever it was, they outplayed them. They was outcoached and they was outplayed. Now, what big changes will Minnesota make? Who knows? I hope they don't make like huge changes because the biggest change they did was they got rid of Karl-Anthony Towns and they got Julius Randle. And for some reason, I don't know what happened to Julius Randle. What happened to Julius Randle? He did not play like Julius Randle. He did not play the Julius Randle that played against the Lakers. He wasn't the same Julius Randle that played against the Warriors. This Julius Randle looks like he just went back into his shell. Like he couldn't take it. Like they was playing that hard of a D on. And the crazy part about it was, who was playing D on him? Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso was playing D on Julius Randle. Alex Caruso is 6'5", 186. That's his stat line. Julius Randle, who got hit by him, 6'9", 250. A whole inch on you, and that's a big 250. But Alex held his own. I'm watching him play, and he's holding his own. He's holding his own against him. And so they took Alex and said, yeah, be that dog. He was that way with the Lakers. When he played with the Lakers, he was that dog. He would get his shot, but he would play heck of a defense. Heck of a defense. So I don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs, but I'm predicting right now it's going to be Indiana and Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm predicting 5 games. I'm predicting OKC to win it in 5. That's my prediction. If you don't like it, you can always hit me up. Talk to me. Let me know. Ray on Sports, Johnny Ray on Sports Podcast. You can always hit me up on Apple Podcasts. You can hit me up on Spotify. You can even tell your smart speaker to play Ray on Sports, and it will play. But this is Johnny Ray for Ray on Sports. I want to give this quick, 30 minutes almost 30 minutes of airtime. I love everybody out there that listens to me. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate my numbers going up. If you like it, share it with somebody else. If you have a comment about it, hit me up. You can always hit me up at rayonsports0905 at gmail.com. That's rayonsports0905 at gmail.com. And hey, here's your tip for the day, because I always give one out, and I don't know, I don't realize I do it, but I always do. Be a team player. That's my tip. Be a team player. Don't ever think you're bigger than the team. Yeah, you're the leader, but you also got to be a team player. In business, if you're a supervisor, you can be a supervisor, but you got to be a team player. Because supervisors are people that's been there, done that. So you can lead other people because you've done it. You've done the work. You put the time in. So to be a leader in sports or a leader on a team, you got to put the work in, because they look at you like, why should I do it if you didn't do it? You can't come in there and say, I want you to do X, Y, and Z, and they say, well, you don't do X, Y, and Z. You can't come in there as a leader and says, I want you guys to be here early at warm-ups, and you come in late. You can't come as a team leader and says, hey, you guys got to crash the boards hard, or you guys got to get that rebound, you guys got to play better defense, and you don't play defense. Team leaders, teams look at that, and players look at that and say, well, he's our leader, but he ain't doing nothing, so why should I do something? And sometimes the coaches can't say nothing to him because they don't see it. In sports, Tom Brady was a great leader. Tom Brady worked hard, and the team followed him. They worked hard, and as long as they followed him and worked hard, they won championships. Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, they played hard, they worked hard, and they won championships behind it. Baseball, the Dodgers, they played hard, worked hard, and it showed. So any sport, hockey, you got that team leader that plays hard, works hard, even if they're not feeling well. Michael Jordan played with the flu and went out there and balled out, and because of that, the Bulls won. But it showed more than a win. It was more of he was willing to say, I'm willing to sacrifice playing the flu because I want to win. And I know it trickled down to the rest of the teammates. Said, well, if he's playing like that and he's sick, well, we got to play harder. We got to cover him. We got to play harder. You got to cover your leaders. That's another thing. You got to cover your leaders, no matter what it is. You don't put everything on your leaders. You do your job to the best of your abilities. That makes your leader's job easier. I'll take it to the church. Let's take it to the church real quick. If you do your job, your pastor's job is easy. Listen to me again. If you do your job, your pastor's job is easy. How do I know? Because I have a pastor like that and I have a church like that. We all play our roles, we all do what we have to do, and it makes his job easier. Our pastor on Sunday morning, when we tell him, all you do, sir, is preach the word. Don't worry about nothing else. We got you. Same thing in sports. If you tell your leader, all you got to do is do this, and we got you. We're doing everything else. People will follow, and the leader will feel better, and it gives them more opportunity to grow as a leader because they don't have to worry about you. If a leader has to sit there and just focus on you and pinpoint on you and tell you what to do every single time, then the leader can't get his job done because he's worried about what you're doing. So when you're doing stuff like that, learn how to, you have somebody over you, but learn how to do your job to the best of your ability so they don't have to worry about you so much. Every once in a while, you might have to check in and say, hey, I'm working on this. What do you think about it? Hey, I want to go do this. What do you think about it? Then, yeah, you get your input back from your leader. But if you're there to do a job and they hire you to do a job, same thing in sports. If they draft you or they get you in free agency or whatever way that the team gets you, and they get you to do a job, do your job to the best of your ability so the leader doesn't have to work so hard. So the leader can say, oh, this guy's doing what he had to do, so I'm good. I can sit back. I think in OKC, and I'm going back to the OKC Thunder, Shea looks at his players and says, oh, they playing excellent. I can pull back. I don't have to score 50 points in the first half for us to win. I can score 12 in the first half, and we can be up by 20. And then if they need me to come on, then I can say, okay, now I can come on. Now I can get mine. Because now the role players have done all their jobs. And now he can say, okay, now I can take over. Because now they're focusing on the role players. That makes my job easier. But if you have a team, Minnesota Timberwolves, and I'm trying not to knock on them so hard, but I'm seeing it. They looked at Anthony Edwards as the savior of the team, and they didn't look at Julius Randle because they realized he wasn't doing nothing. So the rest of the team fell off. They were like, oh, well, Ant can't do anything. Oh, God. Same thing with LeBron James ran teams. Um, if you more confident, you'll play better. In LeBron James' case, they talk about how LeBron James is this and Kobe was this, and Michael Jordan was this. But if you got Jordan's respect, if you got these players' respect, they respect you, and you can play hard because they know you. They know what you bring to the table. In Jordan's day, Dennis Rodman knew his job, knew what he had to do: play defense, get rebounds. Jordan respected that, and that's how they won. And any other in Kobe Bryant's day, he had Horace Grant, he had Robert Ory, he had Derek Fisher, he had Shaq in the middle, and even when Shaq left, he had Paul Gasol in the middle. But they knew their roles and said, okay, Kobe's a star. Kobe's gonna take over the game when he needs to. But Kobe's looking around, watching defense, and okay, how they playing me? How they playing me? Oh, they doubled me. Oh, Fish is open in the corner. Oh, Ory's open on the top. Oh, Gasol's open down in the middle. So let me feed them first, and that makes my job easier. Same thing with leadership. If your team gets fed first, it makes your job a whole lot easier. I have a daughter that's in management. And I told her that if your team does well, it makes your job a whole lot easier. As long as you give them the right tools they need to do and what right information that they need, they can do it well. You still have to oversee them and make sure they're doing it right. But if they do their job to the best ability, and you got to encourage them to do their job to the best of their ability, you got to say, "Hey, you can do this. You can do this. Come on, let's get it done." And if they have run into issues, help them solve that issue. Same thing in sports with leaders of teams. You help your players solve their issues. Okay, what's your issue? Okay, I have an issue. Okay, let's work on it. And they work on it, and teams, your players respect you more. Same thing with coaching too. Coaching, if you got to respect your team, you can go a long way. But I know a lot of I heard when coaches get fired, the thing always comes out is that players had to turn a deaf ear to the coach. They was tired of hearing the coach talk. And see, when that happens, it's time to move on. But that's all I have for right now. This is Johnny Ray, host of Ray on Sports podcast, coming to you on Apple Podcasts, coming to you on Spotify, coming to you on Buzzsprout, and even on Amazon, so you can tell your smart speaker to play Ray on Sports. I appreciate you guys listening to me talk and breaking this thing down. I'm gonna I'm gonna watch. I think I'm gonna watch the highlights of the Indiana New York series and see what happened. But I still got Indiana. But I'll be back next week. Another take on NBA, and I might throw some wrestling in there. I might throw some wrestling in there. The hockey, I'm working on the hockey. I'm trying to get a friend of mine who knows hockey better than me to help me come in and talk about it. But right now, until I get that together, I'm staying in my lane. But this is Ray on Sports. I talk all sports, all time, anytime. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for taking this ride with me. Take care and God bless.